Hey guys, Joe here, and welcome to my two-part JoJo Part 6 Stone Ocean review. Instead of doing an episode-by-episode marathon, I figured it's just best to quickly cover 6 episodes in this video and the remaining 6 in another. It was a bit hard trying to figure out how to do episode-by-episode reviews since there really isn't much to talk about for a few of them, since the arcs span 2 episodes and it's hard to talk about one without the other. Well, with that said, let's get going, shall we? We kick this show off with the introduction to Jolene. She's been put in prison over a crime she didn't commit. Jolene's introduction is bizarre to say the least, no pun intended. We get a pretty lengthy talk about masturbation, and how Jolene was caught doing it by a guard at night. It goes on a bit too long, and it's not that funny either. The whole point though is to show that she has great analytical skills when she deduces how an inmate wound up in jail based on their finger being discolored. If I had to criticize Netflix Cowboy Bebop for their balls shaving jokes, I have to do the same here with their masturbation lines. So anyways, Jolene gets a visit from her lawyer who gives her a pendant from her dad. Jolene's dad is the one and only Jotaro Kujo from parts 3, 4, and a bit of 5. The pendant has a piece of the arrow that gives people stand powers. Jolene gets cut by it and slowly gains the power of strings. Along the way, she meets and befriends Hermes Costello, who she helps when a bunch of prison guards try to steal her money. Episode 1 ends on the courtroom scene where she's sentenced to the Green Dolphin Street prison. Jolene also uses her new stand powers to kill or horribly maim her crooked lawyer who lied to her about doing a plea bargain. So that's episode 1, and masturbation jokes aside, it's not a bad start. For an episode where not much happens, it still feels very JoJo, with all the overreactions, stylistic color changes, and brutal looking gore. Episode 2 is the introduction to a minor character, Gwes, who's Jolene's cellmate. She manages to get stand powers as well, with hers being called Goo Goo Dolls. Honestly, I was never a fan of this mini arc in the manga, because it was a bit tedious jumping straight into filler as soon as we get introduced to the plot. But give them credit for making anime Gwes absolutely crazy. I was curious how they're gonna show her movements and insane lines, and yeah, they do knock it out of the park. That said, I still found this episode just as bad as the manga. Of course, it is in anime form, so it is more compact, but I just found myself skipping through it. I guess if you're new to JoJo, this does try to explain what stand powers are, using characters who don't even know themselves, so you do end up getting a decent casual explanation, instead of something rooted deep into lore about arrows and ancients and all that jazz. Anyways, Gwes's stand Goo Goo Dolls lets her shrink anyone. And really, it's an overpowered stand that could solve a lot of problems that the main heroes face later on. But of course, it goes to someone incompetent, so the powers end up being useless. Episode 3 is where things start getting interesting. Honestly, just skip episode 2 and go straight to 3 after watching the first one. Jotaro shows up to help break his daughter out of prison. He shows her a picture of an inmate, John Golly A. He's the one who framed Jolene and got her locked up as a means to kill her for Dio's sake. Dio, by the way, gets the greatest flashback ever. Instead of the usual picture from part 3 with his back turned, we're greeted by Road Roller. Anyways, they end up getting attacked by John Golly, who's way on the other side, meaning this man's got stand powers too. Episodes 4 to 5 is Welcome to the Cum Zone. 4 continues to deal with fighting John Golly A, but the ending has a great swerve that I won't spoil for you guys. It's a great one, but let's just say the end result is the Cum Zone. Episode 5 wraps up this arc with the father and daughter duo escaping the Cum Zone. They get very close to the window they need to smash to escape, but things take a turn for the worst when White Snake, a mysterious stand, steals Jotaro's stand and memories in the form of CDs. The whole time, Jolene is mad at her dad for being a deadbeat, but he redeems himself during these episodes, trying his best to protect his daughter, and admitting that he always cared for her. I want to say this is a touching moment, but we barely get to see Jotaro and Jolene interact outside of these fights. I mean, yeah, I get it, they don't have a relationship to begin with, but it just felt like some scenes are missing in between all of this. I don't know, I guess I just want them to talk a bit more, rather than dump exposition and then dump science facts as they fight. Finally, episode 6 is another filler type arc. Depends on who you ask, but I say it's a filler. Hermes activates her stand Kiss, which can make stickers. Something with a sticker on it gets duplicated, and once that sticker is removed, the two things get smashed back into one in violent fashion. So let's say she puts a sticker on a shoe. A new shoe would appear, but as soon as you take that sticker off, it would smash back with the original one. Hermes has to deal with a suicidal guard who has given the stand Highway to Hell. It's basically the Yu-Gi-Oh card Share the Pain. I'll be honest, it is actually kind of funny watching McQueen, the suicidal guard, keep trying to kill himself. It just keeps escalating, and he has a surprising level of introspection when Hermes tries to be nice to him. While it is a filler episode, it does explain the stand-in memory disk Whitesnake creates. Pretty self-explanatory, but if someone is dead because those discs are taken away, you can bring them back by putting the disc back in. So now the goal is to get Jotaro's disc back to revive him. And that's 6 episodes of the show. I'll be honest, it is kind of hard watching these episodes since I do know the endgame. I won't spoil anything, but let's just say it is a bit jarring to watch it from the start again. Anyways, I would say it's a solid start to the show. Just skip episode 2 for sure, and maybe 6 if you just want to get to the main story faster. Alright then, time for the next video where I cover episodes 7 to 12.